Hello everyone, Busy Gamer Dad back again, picking up Final Fantasy II Pixel Remastered on Steam. When we last left off, we had just kind of delved a little bit into the Mystia caves. I think I'm going to use a cottage, cabin, outdoor camping device to recover our HPs and MPs. And then we're going to jump down into the place proper. It's gonna be crazy. This is probably gonna be a longer than normal playthrough because if what I know about this, yep, there it is. That's why. These guys are just gonna be a huge time sink, and I apologize in advance because they are supremely resistant to all forms of physical attack, which is what we have in spades. We have a lot of physical attack. I'm actually thinking what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put fire on Layla, and if I have an extra fire tome and have her start leveling that up, maybe that'll help out in the long run here. But yeah, this dungeon here is the quintessential test your magic power dungeon, as it were. And we don't have a lot of it because we've just been mashing the A button through our entire playthrough, basically. So, you know, we'll have some fun with some witty banter. Hopefully it'll lighten the mood as we dungeon delve, and we'll get ourselves through this. I want to say that we were doing more damage to these guys before. Is it fire that they're weak against, or maybe it's blizzard? Maybe it's blizzard, or maybe I'm just... No, it's got to be fire, because I remember... Yeah, I'm going to put... If I have any extra fire tomes, I'm going to put those on people. Even if it is just for this dungeon, and then we forget them. I think they have about 300 health. So that tracks. That tracks. Okay. Maria's fire went up. That's great. Furion's MP went up. Intellect, all that good stuff. Okay, great. Awesome. So, one thing I'm going to do in order to save our MPs is I will be using antidotes instead of anything else. Do we have any other fire tomes? We do not. We have Blizzard, Blind, Toad, Haste, Warp, Curse, all the fun stuff, but not Blind, or not Fire. Well, that's gonna be a rough go of it. Well, we'll keep on going. So anyways, like I was saying, what I know about this one is these black flans are completely impervious to physical attack unless you crit. And same thing with the red mooses. The black flans are weak against fire. The red ones, I believe, are weak against thunder. We're going to find out here in a second. Yep. Okay, good. And I believe the red ones are a lesser version of the black flans, and they might perish here. Yeah, so that's great. Okay, good. Okay, so then... I'm just gonna keep on keeping on. Instead of burning through that, we'll just mash the A button, see if we can get a crit on them. But we do 0 damage to them, unless we crit. See? And then even with a crit, we only get like 48, which is like your standard fire spell. So, yeah, this is gonna be a little bit of a longer trek for us, but we'll get through it. We'll get through it together. Oh, no, we need to go up and around. I believe it's just this floor that's that has like this tile set of encounters on it. I'm not entirely sure. So while we're doing this, let's do our dad joke. Why do cows wear bells? Because their horns don't work. So there you go. There's our dad joke, nice and early. So if you don't want to stick around for the rest of the grind playthrough on this, I totally understand. It's going to be as exciting as I can make it for us. And that is all I can promise. My goal is to make this as painless as possible with my antics and my wonderful smile and my charm. That's all I can hope for. So, yeah, I'm enjoying the game. This, unfortunately, is one of those moments, though, where I look at the previous, or the current meta, or the current knowledge. Oh, and then these guys are pains in the butt. current state of like Final Fantasy games and RPGs in general, not just JRPGs, but RPGs in general, where they go for a lot more live action fights, and you control a single character as opposed to a party of characters. And I see the progression of from here to there, because these fights, this whole system here is bananas. It's hard. It's really, it's taxing and it's grueling, and not in a way where you feel, or the player feels fully rewarded or engaged, unfortunately. The game itself has been fun to play through. Like I said before, I don't know where I left off truly, but it was about up to where we reclaimed Castle, the Castle Finn with Hilda, and that was about it. That was when I stopped playing my first, or that was my longest playthrough of the game. So this is completely virgin territory for me, and all I will say is that it has been fun to see how the story naturally has progressed. It's not like crazy, you know, groundbreaking or anything like that. But all I will say to anyone, let's do Guy on there, to looking to pick this up, is it's still a fun game. Pixel Remastered games, they're meant to be accessible, and I believe I want to say the Switch ports of these can scale the encounters down quite a bit. I don't have that utility in this version of the game. I don't know if that's actually going to come around. Oh dear, so many chests. Oh, there's a trapped one over there. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go straight up and let's do a clockwise around the room. Yeah, so the game's natural progression arc has fallen off. It has. I'm not gonna put this into any other context. You know, the dungeon design is, it's length for just length's sake. It's not engaging. It's not showing you new mechanics. It's not introducing new characters. I don't believe, at least in this case. I could be wrong. Halfway through here, we could get a new character. Layla could perish. I don't know. But as I understand it, like, we have seen most of the characters in our cast of characters. I think there's like a handful of others, maybe, that return to us at some point or another. But there is not a Monster Closet. There's not like a brand new, I think there may be like one or two at most new characters that we have never seen, because, you know, Joseph, unfortunately, he's dead. He's got squished by the boulder, Indiana Jones boulder style. Minwu, we have no idea where Minwu is. In fact, we're supposed to be looking for Minwu now. Gordon is with Hulda in the Castle Finn, and they're holding down the castle, literally holding down the fort. And that's it, really. Those are the other characters, and Layla's with us. There's, you know, in the very, very beginning of the game, Leon, he's out there in the ether somewhere, I don't know where. But I'm certain we're going to run into him. He's probably going to be a boss or something like that, that we have to fight, because it's sad, but the trope is that he's probably, you know, on some, I don't know. It's weird. We started the game in the fields of near Altair, and all of a sudden we're now, you know, one of the mid to upper ranking officials inside the rebel army. And we haven't seen anything about the true power of the Empire. We've kind of actually been kicking their butts all over the world. You know, they kidnapped Hilda, we went and got her. They had the Dreadnought, we went and literally just blew that up. They are trying to get the Ultimatome, I believe is what it is right now, and we're gonna beat them to that. You know, so it's kind of very, like, unless there's some other plot devices, we are just like checking all the boxes of like we'll say the quintessential, let's see, optimal 2 power staffs, sure. I think it was Final Fantasy 14 with a van, where you start off the game killing sewer rats, and by the end of it you were killing a god. You know, it's just that you're checking all those boxes and hitting those milestones as you progress through the story, and there's not really too much deviation left or right, other than a couple of narrative points that might be interesting that are actually more from side quests than the actual story arc. especially in this game. This game is very linear. It seems like you just don't need to go exploring. Everything will be revealed to you in time. You don't need to go anywhere other than where it tells you to. And if you just continue to mash the A button, you'll be okay. So that's a little bit disappointing, to wrap up those ramblings, because the game itself, I like the game. Again, I still stand by the statements I made where I like the mechanics of leveling things up individually. Oh, no. But the challenge with that is always going to be what ultimately suffers is the specificity of where you are in the game. So because everything is leveling on its own track, I have no idea how strong or how weak I am until I hit places like this, where I was physically strong and I was able to bowl over anything that's not these black flans. But because they have such a high physical damage resistance, I am quite literally stuck backpedaling and fighting them in an impairment state, essentially. And when we get the crits, I mean, we can kill them. It's not like we can't. So we could power through, quote unquote, but is that really what we want to do? Is that what their intent is for the player? And I also feel like, and this is kind of verified through the videos in the playthrough, on any given moment when I'm casting spells or the enemies are actually attacking me, there is a algorithm behind the scenes that seems to be percent-based logic, where it doesn't necessarily matter how powerful my axe ability is. It doesn't matter how powerful my fire spell is. It does a percentage-based damage to the enemy at any given point. So even if I were to power level to a specific degree, I would never become quote-unquote god tier, because I have no... Oh, there it is. I have no true leg up on the enemies because it's percentage based. So again, quite linearly, you could just play this game start to finish without power leveling or doing any type of that intra level grinding, because you'll hit those thresholds very readily of doing the percent damage that you need to do to get through the encounter, to get to the next boss, to the next location, and rinse, repeat. So that is a good thing and a bad thing. Case in point, like, it's a good thing. You don't have to grind. Great, you can just play the game. You can go straight through, start to finish, talk to the people you need to talk to, and speed run the heck out of this game should you want to. And nothing's worse for wear. You don't lose anything from your game from that. But where it suffers and where it's bad is in cases where you have new spells that get introduced to the game, like Break. I have Break on Maria, I believe, and I have Death on Furion. It's almost counterproductive to sit there and level those spells up, because those are 100%, they kill the monster or they don't. And in a percentage-based game, I'll never know how effective those are because that percentage-based algorithm is never known to me. So there's no true way of finding out if death spells work in any given circumstance, or if it's just a luck of the draw because of the percentage of XYZ on a monster. Now you'll say that's always the case, and I agree with you, that is always the case. Some monsters are susceptible to that, some monsters aren't. But if it's percentage based, it seems to be geared towards a negative percentage base towards the monsters scaling to my level, me scaling down to their level. So in that regard, it doesn't matter what I do, I'm always going to be hamstrung, and I will never be able to power level the death spell to be the death spell that it should be, the powerful death spell. Oh, did I already go in here? I might have already gone in here. You know what I mean? And so that's where it's like, you really need to take it for what it's worth and just understand it's not really helpful to, no, I don't want to do that. It's not really helpful to power level spells. It's not really helpful to power level skills Furion using a sword and a spear, or a sword and a shield, or two shields even. You can see right there that it has contributed to Maria outpacing him in life points because he blocks more. And is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Well, in a percentage-based system, it's a bad thing, because that means that Furion, if he's not blocking the hit, will take the same percentage of health damage that Maria would. But Maria has a larger health pool, so naturally she'll survive more often than not. So if a hit does 5% and it gets through on Furion, he takes the 5%. You know, obviously there's the armor and stuff like that come into play, but just argument's sake, 5% is going to take right off the top of his health. Maria has a larger health pool, so 5% to her, again, it's going to still be 5%, and it's just going to not matter. She could potentially live longer, she could potentially die, and so I should change up what I said, where Maria's going to survive longer. Technically, she won't. I mean, it's not that she will survive longer or she won't survive longer. It's the fact that none of them will. If it's a percentage-based system, it doesn't matter if I put shields on everybody or if I put weapons on everybody. So again, it doesn't matter that I leveled things up. So lots of rambling, lots of engaging talk. I hope you can follow it. But basically, the best thing I can tell you guys is this game, you don't need to power level. Enjoy it. Just start right from the beginning and press your way through. Smashing that A button, grinding those spells on the characters you want to have those spells, have fun with it, and realize that this system is flawed. It's at its core, it's flawed. I'm not going to say it's balanced or fair, or completely imbalanced and completely broken in favor of the enemies, because it's not. You see here that these cockatrices are doing 0 damage to me because I do have pretty good stats for physical resistance. So in that regard, yeah, there's something to be said about leveling up and, you know, taking those physical hits for sure, but again, it just feels superfluous in a lot of ways. And then you have these guys, these flying rays, and I think there's another one called manta rays that were outside the arena, and they are just dump trucks of health. That's just all they are, is just huge amounts of health pool, and these actually can wipe your party. Very much like the Death Flower, or the Cockatraces, or the Raihos from several episodes back, if you haven't seen that, where they do a physical attack that if it hits you, it paralyzes you, and you can be stun locked to death, and it's a slow and painful death, because they'll just keep on keeping on stun locking you, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's no blocking it, there's no controlling it, and again, that's where the nuances of the game get lost, we'll say. But again, I'm having fun with this game because this is further than I've ever been in it, so I'm excited to see this through, and I'm glad that you guys came along with me, and I hope that you guys are enjoying it as well, and realize that these early games are flawed, but they're still fun. Flawed doesn't mean not fun, so, you know, take it for what it's worth. On that note, I think this dungeon is naturally going to be the longest dungeon that we play through, if not probably one of the longest dungeons that we play through. So we're looking at probably about a 30-40 minute video here to get through this. Oh no, I didn't want a physical attack. Oh, I'm so silly. I was just mashing the A button like always. Well, we'll get one of them, it looks like. Nope, won't even get one of them. Nope. Yay, we got one of them. Hooray. Oh, so silly. Alright, you, fire, you, smash, smash. There we go. Wonder if it's just better to single target them. It probably is. I think I'll do that, because the less diverse the spell, divided the spell, dispersed the spell, the more damage it does. Again, percentage based. There's 3 monsters, it does, out of 100, 25 to each. If there's, if there's 4 monsters, it does 25 to each. If there's 3 monsters, it does 33. If there's 2 monsters, it does 50. And if there's 1 monster, it does 100. So I think we're too far down the one path now. We've divided the spell up too far. Too many times, but Either way, it looks like we were going to cast it 4 times to make it as effective as it was. All right, so I need to go up and around, and this is probably the stairs down. This has to be the stairs down now that I think about it. Oh man, if we get poisoned, or not poisoned, turned to stone, that's gonna really put a damper in things. But hey, I can put them in my garden. Oh man, no, I don't want to do that. I need to save my MPs. I'll just melee attack them. Because there's gonna be plenty more of those black flans, plenty more of those red mooses. Guarantee it. But we'll work our way through it. With you guys here with me, we can do it. We can win the day. If you know the reference for that sound, you grew up in my era. Alright, cool. Ran away, saw all his buddies die, and he's like, nope, peace. Get out. And that's another thing. The money in this game, we have, what is it? We could retire with the money. Yeah, we could start our own kingdom and army. Alright, 3. There's another chest over there that's blocked. Okay, so let's go up and get the chest that's stuck behind there. Whoa, many dudes. I think I want to just spread this around and try, because I believe the changers change my HP to theirs, and then the parasites change my MP to theirs, and then the parasites change. Oh, they drain. They just flat out drain the MP again. So that's where this is like the Mystidia Cave. It's the magic cave. You know, it's a lot of magic or anti-magic creatures, or magic drawing, draining creatures, and magic weakness creatures are here because it emphasizes the ability of the mind as opposed to the body. And you'll notice that we are fighting Mulboros. Mulboros are traditionally a Final Fantasy staple, where they do an ability called Bad Breath, and it applies all the negative status effects to your party. And I say party because it's an AoE. Bad Breath, it's everybody. And there was one staple, Icebow, in Final Fantasy that was... Oh no, that's not good. What if I do optimum? Really? The Icebow is supposedly better? Alright, well, I'll try it. Was it here? Waiting for me in the tunnel. But the other Final Fantasy staple that counteracted Bad Breath was called the Ribbon. And it was an accessory, or a headpiece. And if you had that, you could survive Bad Breath, because it also did damage to you as well. But when I say negative, all negative status effects, it did stone, paralyze, blind, mini, toad, piggy, poison, you know. Okay. All right, I'm convinced. Where did I come from? There. So I go down and around. Okay, I'll just go down and around here. Slime rays. Yeah, so yeah, this is fun still for me. It didn't look like it did too much damage. Wonder if it's because... Well, she can get the bow skill up to do a little bit more. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, what are the... Yeah. I know these guys... Let's do it this way. I know the flames... I believe the flames are going to be healed by spells. Yep, okay. Got him. Okay, cool. Blizzard 8. Yep, got the one in the back. So the yellow jellies are probably weak against Blizzard, more than likely. I wonder if the Icebow will do damage to them. More than likely it will not. Nope. Darn. Darn. I could have hoped. Oh, darn. Is that gonna be enough? Yep, okay, cool. Nice, and then we'll loop in here. What's in here? What's in the box? So I think I'm gonna actually go back after this fight. I'm gonna put the other weapons back on Maria and get her back up to dealing maximum deeps. Because I think the game, for some reason, is like auto pigeonholing her essentially into being in the back row. Well, that's weird. Like, this says it does more damage. It's because of the evasion, probably. No, the evasion goes down. Why? Why would it do that? That's so bizarre. Monsters, arg! Bombs, oh no! No, we won't cast fire on the bombs. You know what, let's try it, let's see what happens. Worst thing that happens is they blow up on me. Sure. Worst thing that happens is they blow up on me. Wow, they did not die. Oh, they did a fair chunk. Okay. I don't think they'll kill me. Really? Huh. That did hardly any damage. Fools! Physical attacks are weaknesses, are our strengths, not our weaknesses. Words is hard sometimes. If this is just for like an antidote, oh, you break one up. Ogre killer. It's an axe I already have, right? Yeah, I already got that axe. Put it on her. Ria, you're just crazy whomping on people. Okay. Let me see here. I need to do a little bit of heal. There. Cool. Alright, zoom. Preemptive strike. Yay! Maria's got a new axe to grind. So, yeah, around the time of this recording, it's starting to be springtime, so you'll maybe see me get tanner and tanner, maybe get a sunburn, I don't know. I actually have been doing some running outside now, but I've also been, my kids have soccer, gymnastics, my daughter has Girl Scouts, and she's in dance now. This is probably wrong. Yep. And my son is doing soccer. So definitely going to be outside doing all the things and all the stuff. Let me know what your outdoor activities are that you like to do, if there's any that you are looking to try and achieve this summer. I'm actually really excited because a good buddy of mine got a pass to hike Mount Whitney, as well as doing Angel's Landing. So I talked it over with my wife because he asked if I wanted to go. And I told him that I would have to talk with her because that's a pretty big hike. Mount Whitney's the tallest point in the United States, and I wasn't sure I was going to be able to do it, but you know, he said no, you'll be totally fine. It's logistically is the hardest thing to plan, but once you're there, you could do that easy. In fact, you might be carrying me up the mountain. And I said, oh, okay, thank you for the confidence. So to that end, I'm gonna be probably doing that hike. End of July into August, and that'll be fun. That'll be a lot of fun. I'll take pictures and post them on my Instagram, the Busy Gamer Dad Instagram, if you care to see them. Yeah, you know, that's my summer activity. That's my big summer goal, is to continue to get in shape and stay in shape for the hike there. Because I've heard that it's also brutally hot in Zion National Park at that time. I have another buddy who, oh dear, who lives in Colorado, and he just said, I pity you. The Narrows are insanely hot in August. So I may have come back and I may look like a raisin. So later this year, if you see some videos of me just looking emaciated and burned out, that's why. But it'll be worth it. It's a bucket list item. If you didn't know, the way you hike those locations, if you're ever interested, is you have to get a hiking pass, and it's policed. You have to have a pass, a permit to hike on a certain day, on a certain time. And if you don't, then you're gonna get kicked out, and they're gonna make you go. this is just long for longness sake. You know, tell you to go back down the mountain essentially, and you don't want to go bushwhacking it up there because God knows you could step on a rattlesnake or fall into a cactus patch and screw yourself real good. Pardon my language. Yeah, you enter a lottery and you set a specific range of dates, and then they pull the lottery, and if you get your dates, you get to go. It's that simple, and I think it's only like $6 to enter, and it's a 4-person pass, so you can enter in with as many people as you want, but you know, ideally 4 is your party size, and you can just hike up to the top on your given time and hike back down. It's pretty well maintained and controlled, so grizzly bears and things like that are one of those things that you do have to be cognizant of, but not necessarily too afraid of, because there's going to be a lot of people where you're at. It's going to naturally have a lot of foot traffic, so you'll be able to, you know, be safe when you're hiking out there and doing your adventuring. Apart from the occasional, you know, maybe mountain lion or something like that, or rattlesnake that you got to be careful of. And then your own, you know, we'll say ineptitude or hubris, in the sense of just like, yeah, I got this. I'm gonna indulge in everything before I go up there. You know, go into Vegas, have a great time, and then just come back out and do the hike and be fine, and then realize 2/3 of the way up you can't make it down. So I don't want to be that person. I need to go up and around. Let's finish those parasites off, because I do not want them to drain any MPs. But yeah, like I was saying with this game, circling back to it, there's a lot of good and bad that I've experienced with it in my time, and I'm again going to play this all the way through, and I will reserve my full judgment when I do my review of the game once I've beaten it, because you know, there could be something in here that sways me completely one way or another, and I don't want to make incomplete assumptions, as it were. I want to make sure that I'm doing my homework as a good video gamer before I offer any opinions. But as of right now, yeah, the glasses have come off. The leveling system, it is fun, was fun, but at the same time, there's not a whole lot of connection I see to what I'm doing and how powerful I feel in the game, other than, haha, the enemies are running away from me, haha, the enemies are hitting me for 0, especially in the case in point now, where I'm in a situation where I'm hitting the enemies for 0 because they just have an ungodly amount of defense. And that's like, it's not leaning into any random potion. It's not a bad thing to lean into the power fantasy for a gamer. You know, it's not a bad thing to tell somebody that they're allowed to be powerful, you know? So that's just where I'll leave it. Maria, though, is crazy strong right now. She's stronger than Fury, and I think that's funny. I don't think it's going to be enough to kill those jellies. Oh, it is. Good. I just beat up the red soul here. Which, incidentally, was a boss earlier in the game. And not really a strong boss. Alright, let's do the picador. Nothing. Monster closet. Okay. Monster closet. Chests. Hooray! Phoenix down. Can't hold anymore. Tome of Silence. Bell of Silence. And a golden needle. Okay, cool. Not terrible. So this is probably going to be a monster closet. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the other games in the Final Fantasy series for the Pixel Remastered. I'll do them all. I'm not sure when they'll be posted or anything like that, but I think out of all of them, everyone has its own pluses and minuses. Like, Final Fantasy VI is like a big one for a lot of people. For a lot of reasons, and the story arc was very good. The general narrative was something I'd never experienced in a game before, ever, and that really kind of framed up, because I was right around the teenage years of my life when that game came out, and that really framed up for me what a game could be. It could be a story. It could actually not just be you necessarily saving the day all the time and doing all the things. You know, it made me think, gave me pause, and it was very well written for what I thought. I mean, the Esper system in that game is cool, but if you've at all ever played it, you realize that late game, it kind of collapses on itself with a lot of the power trips that some characters can get onto. Again, pluses and minuses. I know someone, I had a friend who put in like over, I think, 200 hours into that game to max level every single character and get them everything that he could get them. I'm talking the experience eggs, I'm talking doing all the summons, getting Odins, and getting Go-Go and all that other stuff. And you know, at the end of it, this was before achievements too, so it was just like bragging rights to have the bragging rights to load up the save and be like, haha, look what I did. And then it's like, okay, good, now I'm gonna go do something else. But you know, it was really, you know, that framed up to me like an addiction for a game. Like that really showed you that you could have a good idea of what a game really meant to people, and in a good way too, you know. But honestly, I think I like I want to say I think I like Final Fantasy V. The story is just so comical in a lot of ways. It's very, again, linear. And 5 is one of those games where you have a very straightforward system of leveling and jobs and things like that, but I just love the story. It's just so funny to me. And you may think, like, what is funny about any of these stories? You play it and you'll find out. That's what I'll tell you. If you can get the Pixel Remastered series, or even just that one, or just, I don't know, I'm not condoning doing ROM hacks or anything like that, but even looking at some Let's Plays, or wait until I do the Let's Play for it, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It's funny. And I think that was a breath of fresh air for me with the Final Fantasy series, because that showed me again that games don't need to be serious. RPG games can be fun. Like Earthbound. Earthbound, it is the most ridiculous game out there, but it is also one of the best RPGs of all time for the Super Nintendo, because it didn't take itself too seriously. It offered new enemies, offered new ways of looking at things, and the story was very well written. So Earthbound is also called Mother, if you didn't know. Again, really fun game, and I hope to play that game with my kids, to show them that it doesn't need to be serious, you know, swords and shields and big spells and things like that. No, he fights with a yo-yo. You know? I mean, yeah, he has ESP power and stuff like that, but he fights with a yo-yo, you know? So it's, again, I want to make sure that they realize the power fantasies can come from anywhere. Alright, so let's do a little bit of healing. Let's see where we're at right now. We're getting there. I think this is the home stretch, because they're giving us some chests. Surely there couldn't be a boss. Oh my gosh, 5 Mulboros? Jeepers. This is bad, because if they stun lock me... I need to get them dispatched about as quick as possible. Yep, so we're coming up on about the 38-minute mark. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say our outro. Thanks very much, Busy Gamer Dad. We're about probably about halfway, if not 2/3 of the way through the Mysidia Caves. I'll pick this up right again in the next episode. Thanks so much for stopping by and hanging out with me while we go through this grind session of a dungeon. We'll catch you in the next one, where we pick right up in the next turn of this fight, essentially. Later.